All right, let's jump right in. We're going to crack open the latest real estate report for Southern Arizona and really dig into the key numbers from August 2025. My goal here is to give you a clear, no fluff picture of what's actually going on in the market.
So let's get right to the million-dollar question, the one that's on pretty much everyone's mind. After years of a market that was just on fire, are things finally starting to cool off? Well, the data we're about to walk through, it paints a pretty clear picture.
And the short answer? Yeah, it really is. The biggest takeaway from the August 2025 numbers is that we're seeing a pretty significant market shift. A real cool down from that frantic pace we've all gotten used to. But what does a cool down actually look like? Let's get into the specifics.
Okay, first things first. Let's talk about the one thing everybody always asks about, home prices. What are people actually paying to buy a house in Southern Arizona right now? And here it is, the headline number. The median sale price for a home across the whole region in August 2025 landed at exactly $340,000. Now, a number by itself is just a number. The context, well, that's where the story is.
And here's that context. That $340,000 price tag, that's down almost 4% from just the month before. I mean, that is a really noticeable dip in a very short amount of time. And it's our first big clue that this market cool down is real. And if we zoom out a bit, you can see this isn't just some one-month fluke. Look here, compared to August of last year, prices are down $10,000. And if you go back 2 years to August 2023, they're down $13,000. It's a clear trend pointing downwards. But hey, a cooling market isn't just about the price tag. To really understand what's happening, we also have to look at the pace of the market. How many homes are actually being bought and sold? So, for the entire month of August, we saw exactly 1,281 homes sold across Southern Arizona. That's our total sales volume for the month. But is that a lot? Is that a little? Well, compared to this time last year, sales are down over 5%. So fewer homes are changing hands, which just confirms that the overall hum of the market is getting a bit quieter. And if we break it down, where's the action happening? Well, it's pretty clear. That $300,000 to $400,000 range with 455 sales, that is the sweet spot. It's the engine of the market, for sure. But even that engine is running just a little bit cooler than it used to. Okay, so prices are dipping and the number of sales is slowing down. So the obvious next question is why? And to answer that, we have to look at that classic old-school economic story of supply and demand. And the numbers here, they tell a really clear story. On the supply side, the homes for sale, we had over 1,900 new listings hit the market. But on the demand side, the buyers ready to sign a contract, we had fewer than 1,300. When you have that much more supply than demand, the whole balance of the market, it starts to shift. So what does that shift actually feel like in the real world? Well, it looks like this number, 41 days. That was the median amount of time a house sat on the market in August before it sold. And to really put that in perspective, homes are taking 12 full days longer to sell now than they did just a year ago. That's almost 2 extra weeks. For buyers, that means you can breathe a little. For sellers, it means you've got to have a bit more patience. Now, all of this leads us to what I think is maybe the ultimate indicator of market balance. It's a metric called months of supply. In August, that number was just a tick over 4. So what on earth does that mean? It sounds kind of technical, but the idea is actually super simple. It just means if nobody listed another house for sale starting tomorrow, it would take about 4 months to sell everything that's currently on the market. Now, a totally balanced market, one that doesn't really favor buyers or sellers, is usually around 5 to 6 months of supply. So at 4, we're not quite in a buyer's market yet, but we are definitely moving away from that intense seller's market and towards something much more neutral. Okay, we've waded through a lot of data. Prices, sales, supply. So let's get to the part that really matters. What does this all mean for you? Let's translate these numbers into an actual game plan. If you're out there trying to buy a house, listen up, because this cool down is your friend. With homes sitting on the market longer, you've got more power to negotiate. There's less competition out there, which means fewer of those crazy, stressful bidding wars. You actually have time to think and make a good decision. And definitely keep your eyes peeled for sellers making those strategic price drops to get a deal done. Now, if you're thinking about selling, the game has changed. The days of just throwing any price on a house and watching the offers roll in, well, they're fading. You have to price your home strategically right from day one, and you need to be mentally prepared for it to take a little longer to sell. And since buyers have more choices now, your home's presentation, the curb appeal, it matters more than ever. The bottom line is, you'll need to be patient and probably a little more flexible when that offer finally comes in. So, there you have it. That's the story the August numbers are telling us. A clear market cooldown is here. And it leaves us with one big question as we head into the fall season. In this brand new environment, how are buyers and sellers going to have to adapt their strategies to come out on top? That's what we'll all be watching. Thanks for joining me for this breakdown.